what about when you start to get to the relationship phase? There are a few things about sex that I'm not like a intricate expert on sex, right? But what I do know are principles that kill relationships or potential relationships in the bedroom. And this is what I want to talk about. What principles, what things kill potential relationships in the bedroom? There are a number of things that done right will keep him for life, and done wrong will lose him like that. So, let's begin. We never used to talk about sex at Get the Guy, mostly because I was bashful about talking about sex to a group of women. But then we realized that we were doing people a massive disservice by not talking about it. Because, as much as people often avoid the issue in public, this is one of the most fundamental things in keeping the guy. People talk about, how do I keep the guy? How do I get him to commit? Sex is a massive part of that. If the sex life isn't right, that alone will stop him from committing. That alone. And people don't talk about this. Because when they talk about, oh, the guy didn't call back, the guy didn't do this, never does someone come up to me and go, oh, Matt, Friday night, we got in bed and then he did this and I did that and then the next day he didn't call. They don't say that. Here's what they say. It was really good for a couple of weeks, but then he didn't call me. And then I don't know what happened. And it was really great. So I don't get any of the nitty-gritty information that actually allows me to make an informed decision. Because to really make an informed decision, I need to be in that bedroom. I need to understand what actually happened. Because guys, as soon as things aren't right in that area, that scares them. And there are a few things that make it difficult. First thing, body confidence. Body confidence. Insecurity about physical appearance and bodies is something that is common to a huge number of women. Guys too, obviously, but we're here to talk about women right now. It's common to so many people. And a lot of the time, people don't think that they're showing these things, and they are. And as soon as a guy picks up on female insecurities about her body, it's so disastrous what happens. Because he's in the bedroom with you. He has this vision of you. Right? You're a goddess right now. Don't mess that up. Don't tell him what's wrong. Don't reveal what's wrong. He already thinks you're a goddess. He's already in that room with you. Here's what happens. They undress. He puts his hand somewhere that she's not really comfortable with because she doesn't like that part of her body, and she goes. And in that moment, she severed the attraction. She created a disconnect. Because he thought that was sexy a minute ago. And now she moves his hand and he goes, oh, what's wrong with it? And he starts worrying about it. Oh, don't touch my stomach. I hear that all the time. Don't touch my stomach. Why? Now he starts to think about it. Oh, I hate my legs. Why? Tell me about that. Why do you hate your legs? Because I thought they were great. Tell me about that. And now it's killing attraction. Body confidence is one of the most, people forget this, because it's almost fashionable. It's almost fashionable to talk about parts of our body we don't like. Isn't that true? Magazines and things that point out things. Oh, I hate my legs. Oh, I hate my bum. Oh, I hate my arms. Oh, I hate this. I hate that. Oh, I don't like my nose. No one needs to hear it because it kills attraction. Certainty creates attraction. That insecurity kills it. And no confident guy will put up with that for very long. No confident guy will put up with that for very long because he doesn't want to be with an insecure person. And I've seen it before where a woman will go, oh, I don't like the way I look in this. And he'll go, Oh, you look beautiful. What are you talking about? And she'll do it again because she enjoyed just being called beautiful. So later on she goes, oh, I'm really not sure. And he goes, no, you look beautiful. What are you talking about? And then she does it again and he thinks, this is boring. Already this is boring. He wants that woman who thinks she's sexy. Not the woman who gets into the bedroom and makes sure that before she's even hit the bed, she's turned every single light off. Everything, the main light, the lamp, the standby light on the DVD player. Everything. And what does it communicate? What does it communicate? God forbid you actually see me. You see my scales. You know? He doesn't want that. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do it this way, you have to do it. I'm just saying a man wants to see you for the goddess that he signed up for. Not the person who he gets up close to and you start pointing out all the chips and all the cracks. He doesn't want that. Yeah.
Do men want the models that are in magazines?
Do men want the models that are in magazines? The interesting thing I've found is you can become attracted to almost anything. Like you could become attracted to something. I've become attracted to things that I've never normally I've never been attracted to, but because I've had people who I've been with who have said, I said, what's your favorite part of you? And they'll point something out. They'll say, my nose. And I would never have noticed their nose before. And then because it's their favorite part, I start to think, well, maybe there is something special about her nose. And I start thinking about it. It starts to become something I like. So it's more about how do you sell something? How do I market this part of me? Not what is it? How do I market it? The marketing is the best part of it. Because guys can be attracted to all different things. And you've got guys who are attracted to people who are this way, guys who are attracted to people who are this way, guys who like this face shape, guys who like that face shape, guys who like petite women, guys who like tall women. You have guys who, they're literally, everyone is right for someone. Everyone is right for someone. And when guys see people in magazines, they're trained to like certain things. But that is not the same as the person that they get attracted to when they're out on a Saturday and they catch someone's eye. I know this because I catch people's eye and they may completely not be my type, and I catch their eye and I go, oh wow, I like that person. And they're not usually what I would go for, and suddenly, just because of the way they look at me and the way we have a connection, I like them. People sometimes get it the wrong way round. There are countless books written about men are physical creatures, men are attracted to X, Y, and Z, and that's why they like you. But actually, I can't count the amount of times where I've found something in someone's energy or the way they carry themselves that then makes me attracted to their physical appearance. That it goes that way round as opposed to the other way round. I'm not saying it never happens the other way round. I'm just saying that it works both ways. Even if we're not someone's type, we can actually become someone's type through the way we carry ourselves, through our energy, through our personality. That's why people become other people's, I talked about attraction formulas. We all have one. That attraction formula is why we can be attracted to someone who is not our type. So, body confidence, very, very important. Second thing, sexual confidence. Sexual confidence. Now this, again, is wildly misunderstood. Sexual confidence is not the same as sexual experience. Not the same. Sexual confidence isn't knowing every trick in the book. Sexual confidence is the willingness to try. It's the willingness to enjoy sex. It's not knowing everything. It's the willingness to enjoy sex. You can have never had sex and still have sexual confidence if you enjoy it. It's not how many people have I slept with, how much have I done before, what have I done. It's not that. It's my ability to relax and actually enjoy this. And women who can do that are far more attractive than women who just know everything through experience. Women who just are at ease with their bodies and enjoy sex, they're the ones that are the most fun to be with. So, sexual confidence. Next, a sense of variety. A sense of variety. We all want variety as we move through a relationship. And the misunderstanding for a lot of people is that relationships mean less variety in sex. It doesn't. Actually connecting with someone should mean infinitely more variety. Like, because I connect with someone, here's what happens. We actually get to know each other and what we like, and we get to explore each other, and we get to take this to a whole new level. That is immeasurably more exciting than a one-night stand. Compare that with a one-night stand. Going out, we don't know each other, we don't know each other's boundaries, we go home, we're a bit awkward around each other, we do that, we wake up in the morning, we realize we barely know each other, and it's a bit weird. When we're with someone, there's so many opportunities for a variety that we don't have, but people don't explore these. Here's why. They don't have the fourth thing, which is openness and honesty. Openness and honesty. People are really quite weird. When it really comes down to all of the little things that they like, people are quite strange. They're freakier than they will ever let on. And that's wonderful, because that's what makes sex exciting and interesting and enjoyable. Because you really get to know someone's quirks. You really get to know those parts of someone. The problem is, few people are open and honest enough to be able to actually talk about them. And they follow each other's lead. So if one person isn't that honest and doesn't say what they like, then the other person tends not to. Whereas if one person does get open and honest and says, I'd really love you to do this, then the other person is liberated to be the same and to admit what they want. And that admittance, that openness, that's what opens the floodgates for this amazing sex life. That's what makes it incredible. That's what gives people true variety. And men have a lot of things that they want to do. They've been watching things for a while, which give them ideas that they probably wouldn't have otherwise had. I mean, nowadays, guys don't have to imagine a lot. But they get shown things that they want to do. And here's the thing. Guys have all these fantasies about what they want to do. And they're secretly looking for the one woman who is going to be able to entertain those fantasies and have that incredible journey sexually for the rest of their days. Now, whenever I see someone say, I'd never do that, I would never do that, I would never do that, I always worry. Because as soon as a guy hears that, he freaks out. He freaks out. Because when he decides who he wants to commit to, he's looking for the woman who will explore with him. He doesn't want to think she's done it all before, but he wants the woman that can explore with him. He feels like they have this unique sexual bond that he couldn't replace anywhere else, and that she gets him sexually. When a woman truly understands a guy sexually and what he likes and what his needs are, that's one hell of a connection you create with a guy. So, the next question that people scream internally is, what does that actually mean I have to do? Well, here's the thing. My philosophy is, if it's between the two of you, anything should go. That's what I think. If it's between the two of you, anything should go. In other words, if it doesn't involve someone else and break all of your rules about monogamy. I believe that because I believe that two people in a relationship are a team, and that they are there to satisfy and meet each other's needs. If they don't want to do that, then they shouldn't be in a relationship together. You're there to please him, and he's there to please you. That's how it should be. Now, does that mean that you have to do everything? Well, it doesn't mean you have to do everything. It just means don't say no. Just don't say no. If he brings something up and you say no, that just became the only thing he's ever going to care about. Before it was just an idea. Now his whole life is a mission to make this happen. So you don't have to say yes right now, just don't say no. You know what? Half the time, we don't even want to do the stuff that's in our head. Even we think it's weird. But we don't want to be told no. So when you leave it on the table, half the time we just go, all right, that's good enough. That's enough. Just to know I can. That's enough. The other part is, what's interesting is what a guy wants to talk about is often very different from what he wants to do. So you could be talking sexually with a guy and having phone sex or something like that. And what he will talk about there is actually very different from what he actually wants to do. But sometimes the talking about it is enough. The talking about it is enough. So never be afraid of talking about it. And never think, oh, because we're talking about it, we have to do it. Talking about it is often enough for a guy. That adds variety, just talking about it. So you don't have to do it. Just don't say no. And lastly, number 5, playfulness. Playfulness is, it has to have a place in the bedroom. When two people aren't playful, that's when they feel like they can't be open and honest. That's when they can't have variety. And that's when they feel like things are too serious and they lose their confidence. When things are playful, that's when you get the best of each other. When you can enjoy it and have fun and giggle together and just really be open about the whole thing. Playfulness, so important in the bedroom. So important in allowing people to feel liberated to say what they want to say and do what they want to do. And trust me, you want your guy to feel sexually confident around you. Because if he feels sexually confident around you, he's going to be able to please you so much more. If he doesn't, if his confidence is knocked in that area, you will very quickly get the worst of him. Because he will just shut down. So those are the 5 things we have to worry about, okay? That body confidence, sexual confidence, variety, openness and honesty, and playfulness. Lastly, there are a couple of things we need to be wary of in any sex life. First is frequency. Frequency matters. Frequency matters. In England, I did an event for Cosmo, which was, it was like the annual wedding something or other. And they basically had 200 women who were about to get married in a room. And they wanted me to go and talk to them about how to make that last. And I was in this room, and I'm obsessive about knowing my subject. I cannot not know. I need to know everything. And so I'll always do my research, I'll do my homework, and I go to a huge number of guys who are married. And I say, tell me your biggest gripes. Tell me the things that make life difficult in marriage. Or tell me the one piece of advice you'd give women who are about to get married. And so many guys, so many said, remember that when you get married, you still have to have sex with him. Right? So many guys said this. Now, I'm not saying, I don't want to stereotype, because sometimes it's the other way around. Right? It's not always the guy who has the increased sex drive, whatever. Sometimes it's the other way around. But frequency matters. And there's this great scene. Have you ever watched Curb Your Enthusiasm? There's this great scene in Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry David is in bed with his wife, and they're about to go to sleep, and she gets angry. And she says, you never make the first move on me. Why do you never kiss me? You never make the first move. You never start things. And he says, listen, I am open 24 hours a day, right? You just tap me on the shoulder, I'm there. But if you want me to start making the move, I'm going to be pestering you every 5 minutes. Do you want that? And it was an interesting point. It was quite funny because it's indicative of a lot of relationships. I'm not saying this is true of every guy, but as a general thing, a lot of guys, it's a different thing for them. They don't need to warm up. They don't need to get to that place where they really want it. They're just ready. So here's my second point. Firstly, frequency matters. Secondly, if in the moment you don't want it, be very careful about how you say no. Because those things, again, can be very damaging to a relationship. Remember, when a guy gets into a relationship with a woman, here's what he's saying sexually. All of my sexual validation as a man is now going to come from you and no one else. That's actually a big responsibility. Especially if we expect to be with men who are loyal and honorable and trustworthy. It's not a big responsibility for a guy who cheats, right? Because he's not getting all of his validation from you. But from a guy who is loyal, that's a big responsibility. Because he's saying everything, all of my feelings in this area as a man are going to come from you. So as soon as now he goes to that woman for sexual approval, and he goes to her and starts kissing her and says, love me as a man, and she says no, he panics. He panics because he feels locked into a situation. He feels, I'm freaking out. I'm not getting my sexual validation here, but I can't go over here. So now what do? I'm stuck. And that freaks guys out because now they don't know what to do. They either stay and feel resentful, try and numb their drive so that they don't ask as much, so that they don't feel as rejected, or they keep asking and pestering you, or they go and feel like a man somewhere else. They go and get some validation somewhere because I crave it. I need that validation. Again, the important thing isn't necessarily that you have sex with a guy every time he wants it. The important thing is, how do I communicate a no? Or rather, how do I communicate a not yet? How do I communicate that? You're standing there, or you're working on your laptop. Guy comes up behind you, starts kissing you on the neck. You know exactly what he wants, but right now you are working. What do? Well, here's what you don't do. Stop. Because what does he hear in this moment? No, because this stuff on this laptop, these words on the screen, are more important than you. In other words, this is more interesting than you sexually. Killing his confidence. Whereas if a woman did this, listen, I have to just finish this. When I'm finished, I will come and jump you. Okay? Just give me a little bit. Okay? I know it sounds like it's kind of preschool to be doing it that way, but that allows a guy's ego to remain intact. And he needs that from you. Because all of that sexual confidence is coming from you. And that's a big responsibility. Last thing, always reward guys for what you like them doing. And make sure he knows you like it. When he does something right, let him know. Because as soon as he knows and he feels good for doing that, he will want to keep doing it. Don't be shy about letting a guy know. If you like it, tell him. He's doing that all the time from now on. It's like buying you a present. If he gets a lot of appreciation for it, he wants to buy you more presents. The ins and outs of sexual relationships, the real intricacies of what people do, I believe are less important than the principles. Those principles are everything, and we stick to those, we're going to have an incredible sex life. But it does require us to actually open up and be ourselves and allow the other person to do the same. Okay, so we talked about sex lives. We talked about the 5 things that really create an extraordinary sex life. I want to move on to, let's start to move dating into commitment. Now, firstly, there's a couple of things that I wanted to mention, just as a brief little intro to this, about things guys like to hear in the early stages, things that it's always nice to have a couple of things that you know register with guys that they enjoy hearing. So there's a couple of things you can say if you're on a date that help a guy, that make a guy feel good. Firstly, just saying, I'm impressed. If a guy tells you something and you're kind of impressed by that, just say, I'm impressed. As soon as a guy hears that, he hears a couple of things. One, you're validating him, but two, it kind of carries the indirect message that you're not easily impressed. And you say, okay, I'm impressed. It's like, I'm not an easy person to impress, but I'm impressed. Another good thing to say is, we mentioned this briefly, is you're in my bad books now. So if you're on a date or you're seeing a guy and he says something that you don't quite agree with, or he likes something that you don't like, I don't know, let's say he's talking about some film that you don't like and you go, terrible film, you're in my bad books. Or he does something wrong, he shows up a bit late or does something, tell him he's in your bad books, because he's now going to want to earn his way back. Another great thing to say is, this really plays to his masculinity, I bet you'd be good at X. So for example, if you notice that he has broad shoulders and you say, I bet you'd be good at rowing. He's hearing this and it's playing to that masculine part of his brain that says, maybe I would. He likes that you noticed it. Another nice thing to say is, if he asks for something, you say, maybe, if you're good. Maybe, if you're good. Again, it's a nice challenge. It's teasing. It's also not saying yes, which is quite cool.